There's a couple of things that I want to talk to you about. If you're living in Washington State, may I just say, get the hell out now. I've said
the
that
entire state.
The entire state. Get out of the state.
Wow.
And I'm dead serious on that. You're living in a state that has gone absolutely insane. First of all, we talked about this before, and nobody's really talking about this. The medical thing that they just passed in Washington State, and they passed it, and the governor has signed it. And basically, it says if there's a medical emergency, we can do whatever we want to you. Now, remember, this is the state that was talking about building like little internment camps for people who wouldn't get vaccinated last time. Okay? They were talking about that. If you think that they won't do that, you're out of your mind. You're crazy. And so it says if the governor decides that there's a medical emergency, a statewide emergency, that the state, based on, I love this one, based on scientific experts, they will dictate what happens to every individual. What you have to get, if scientific experts tell you you have to take this, you will be forced to take that. I'm not having my kids in that state. I'm not living in that state. Are you living in that state? Because they will do it. They're telling you. After everything we went through in COVID, they're now doubling down and saying, oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to encode this into law.
Really, the COVID era was such a great separator from, very roughly blue states and red states, where you saw what the approach was going to be. And you can make the decision as to which one you want to live in when something like this goes down. And I think people did make that decision with their feet. I mean, California abandoned for places like Texas and Florida. That's I think really, really clear. And what I think we've seen after the COVID separation there, you also have seen kind of a codification on both sides. I mean, conservatives and red states have really gone out of their way to signal that they would not do this again, and they would do things differently than the other states would. And blue states are now codifying their side of that, which is, hey, if you don't listen to the science, then we don't want you here, and we're going to put into law that the science shall be followed next time. Not hey, wait a minute, we made a big mistake. Right. We kept all those schools closed and everything. They're going the opposite direction.
They're going the opposite way. They're saying their science was right. That's what they're saying. They're saying,
which is hilarious.
Even if we got it wrong, we won't get it wrong next time. We'll follow the science. Are you mad? Did you see what just happened?
And even when places like the New York Times are now admitting that things like school closings were completely crazy, right?
Yeah,
like
I know.
That's all happened, not just in our publications, not just on our side of the debate, but on their side of the debate.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Get out. Okay, so that's one of them. Mm-hmm. How about this one?
A lot of people don't know that I'm a painter, and I gave up painting because of demoralizing pain in my hands. I was losing hope. If pain keeps you from really living, I urge you to do what I did. Try Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free supplement developed by doctors. It's safe to take every day, and it has helped me and so many others. You can try their 3-week quick start right now, $19.95 at relieffactor.com.
The new Tesla tax just passed by Democrats in Washington State. It cleared the House 52-45, supported solely by Democrats, and it's to address the state's budget deficit. Okay? Well, all of these states that have been spending money like crazy, California, Washington State, I'm not bailing you out. I tell you, I will march to secede if this government is going to bail out the states that have been spending money out of control while our states have been responsible. I am not sending my tax dollars to support your state because you went under. I'm sorry, it's not a suicide pact. The Constitution is not a suicide pact. And because you are committing suicide doesn't mean my state has to commit suicide. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And that is a hard, fast line with me. I'm not doing it. When New York and Illinois and California and Oregon and Washington State all are hemorrhaging because they can't pay their bills, why should I have to pay for that? Why? I don't live there. We've been preaching against it. the red states have been trying to live within their means. No, I'm not cutting my own throat so you don't ever learn a lesson. So you just keep doing whatever it is you're doing. When we're all living in the hard way. You know what that is? That's TARP. That's the bailout of the big banks. Do you think the big banks learned a damn thing? Not one. Why? Because we, the taxpayers, had to bail their ass out. And so what did they do? Well, just keep doing the same thing. They just put it under another name.
I say that they did learn that.
Yeah,
they did learn that's the way the world works.
Exactly right.
And that's an important lesson.
Exactly right. And that is why Donald Trump has got to win. He has got to get this to win. He's got to turn this thing around and turn it around quickly. He's got to break the back of this World Economic Forum, Great Reset, big bank bullcrap. All these he's got to break the back of that and reset it to an actual economy that runs with the people, not the big banks and the big businesses. You know, they've built this public-private structure, and they're just gonna. All they're going to do is those people will continue to get rich. If you're with them, you're fine. Let me tell you about the Tesla tax. So, lawmakers in California said that Tesla's profits need to go to a greater public purpose. So the legislation targets the windfall profits that Tesla earns from selling ZEV credits, with proponents arguing that the revenue should benefit public goals like improving EV accessibility rather than enriching a single company. So they're taxing Tesla. And if you think that money is going to go to build more electric stations, you're crazy. How many billions did we just give to Joe Biden so we could have, 3 electric stations? Please. So now this is socialism. They're going after Tesla, declaring that their profits need to go to a greater public purpose. Who are they to say that? And all of the people that live around you in Seattle and everywhere else, if you think you're going to beat this system at this time, if they're still going down the road that hard, you ain't going to win. You're not going to win. They're going to take that state down, and you do not want to be anywhere near it. I say this with a love for Seattle. I love Seattle. I love Washington. It's my home. I love it. But I got to tell you, get the hell out of there. There's something else that I have in the show prep today. You can get it at glennbeck.com. There was another story about what they're doing in Washington State about, where was it? About the removal of, I can't find it now. It's another bill that they're passing that if you're in trouble and I don't remember, you need to be heard or you're trying to, exonerate yourself or whatever, illegals are going to be ahead of you in that line. Illegals are going to be ahead of you.
Yeah, Washington Democrats pass bill to give illegal aliens with convictions priority for pardons. HB 1131 allows convicted non-citizens facing deportation to skip the front of the clemency line ahead of U.S. citizens.
What is that? What is that? Is that a state that understands what America is? Is that a state that is pulling towards a greater America? Get out of that state. Sell your house and get out of that state. I mean, if this isn't every warning that you got in World War II when you were living in Europe, you're like, wow, it can't get worse than this. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. And they're telling you, yeah, well, they'll never do it. What makes you think they won't do that? They would have done it if they had it encoded in the law. They would have done it the last time. Do you think it's only Australia that would build concentration camps? By the way, I know my family is from Washington State. My grandfather told me one time with tears running down his cheeks, only time I ever saw my grandfather cry, only time was when he talked about the good Japanese family that was taken and taken because we were at war with Japan and he never saw them again. That's all he said. He was one of those, greatest generation that never talked about feelings, and tears running down his cheeks, and he's talking about that. I know what Washington State's capable of. They've done it before. Do you think they won't do it again? Please. And now you have, what's his name? David Hogg. You think that guy's not a round 'em up kind of guy? He's now saying he's going to spend all this money going against the old Democrats. And the old Democrats are saying, no, you're not going to do it. Who do you think's going to win that? The old Democrats? Hogg's going to win that. Do you really think that the Democrats are going to become less radical or more radical? They're going to be more radical. They're showing you. They are showing you the path. Let me just reiterate what I said a minute ago. I have great hope in this administration. I do. I have great hope. I have great hope in the people. I have a great hope that we can renew. I have a great hope that a golden age is right around the corner. But I'm telling you, it's going to come to the finish line. It is going to be a photo finish. Which one crosses the line first? The left with their collapse and their bonfires in the streets, or us with a renewal of America and a new promise and a resetting back to the individual and not the collective. I don't know which one wins. We're still in this fight. Don't fool yourself. Oh, Donald Trump is in and it's all great. No. Don't fool yourself. And I know you're not. I hear it from people. I hear it all the time. I didn't hear it like this in 2016. Donald Trump came in and everybody's like, that's fixed. I'm not feeling that now. I think people, I had a guy say to me, a good friend, a really reasonable guy. I said, what do you want me to ask the president? He said, honestly? I said, yeah. Is this even fixable? Can it be saved at this point? That took my breath away. This is a regular, reasonable guy who does not think like I do, where everything is. Can it even be saved? That's where we are, gang. And don't forget it. And when your government, like in Washington State, is sending you a sign, get the hell out of there.